What does development look like in the absence of developers? A strong potential case study for exploration is Lakeville, Minnesota, the fastest growing suburb in Minnesota and ninth largest city in the state. Residents enjoy Lakeville's easy access to nature, highly rated school district, and rich employment opportunities, in addition to the bustling new commercial and residential developments. What is not easily visible are the rich agricultural roots, quaint neighborhoods, and historic charm that made up much of Lakeville's identity since its founding in 1853. What was once primarily farmland and summer cottages has now become dominated by profit-driven commercial, residential, and industrial development, leaving just a small portion of the city's farmland under state agricultural preserve, much of which expires within the coming years. This endangers not only farmland, but other key elements of the city's identity, including its small downtown district and the lack of personal expression of those in residential developments. So, what are the alternatives to ensure that Lakeville's endangered fertile farmland is protected from developer acquisition, and the historic downtown fabric of Lakeville remains dedicated to a thriving locally owned economy, and that Lakeville homeowners residing in cookie-cutter developments can reject the governance of homeowners associations to fulfill personal expression and expansion. An influential model is the cooperative, which works by defying typical profit-led development patterns by constructing ownership and decision-making through a member-owner model. Members have a voice in expressing concerns that directly affect them and their local community. Community cooperatives could take place in multiple forms to replace existing development-led frameworks or further prevent urban sprawl and developer expansions. Local residents overseen by an existing HOA could gather to collapse the existing governing model and replace it with a neighborhood cooperative that works to create its own set of rules and standards. This new member-owner model, governed strictly by those within the neighborhood limits, can reform the traditional developer-mandated regulations and instead implement efforts towards enhanced infrastructure, support for aging populations, improved density, connections to nature and fresh produce, the sharing of resources, and increased accessibility. Architects can work with local neighborhood cooperatives and individuals to create a framework for increasing accessibility and adapting to the needs of aging communities, promoting density and diversity in local communities, and allowing for the freedom of personal expression and expansion needs. These efforts will bring a greater sense of identity and individual expression to an oftentimes static built environment. In the case of Lakeville's historic downtown, much of the surrounding area is to be developed into townhomes or single-family residences by 2040, threatening existing small businesses and the potential for growth and establishment of new ones. Instead of allowing developers to absorb the downtown district, local entrepreneurs could form a small business cooperative to prevent such. The local business model can work to preserve the fabric and excitement of downtown through activation of vacant parking lots, providing resources and workshops for the local creative community, designing for flexible and functional lifestyles, diversifying the stakeholders of downtown, enhancing public visitor spaces, and offering introductory opportunities for young businesses to kickstart their dreams. In efforts to support a more localized economy, architects can collaborate with local small business cooperatives to create spaces that support the success of new local entrepreneurs, participate in the expansion of community resources and growth, and design adaptable and functional spaces for small business owners. By one business supporting another, it helps to strengthen and preserve the characterization of Lakeville's downtown district. Developers hold much influence over communities with vacant land due to their streamlined project management and financial capabilities. This power could be stopped through a unified allyship of farmers and community members dedicated to the preservation of land. A farmers' cooperative could take form in the unification of neighboring farmers and owners of property on the threshold of suburban development and beyond. Together in alliance, these member owners could work to increase land accessibility, preserve the existing rural farmlands, provide goods and services to local residents, work to educate the public on agricultural practices, and train the next generation of farmers. In this case, architects can act on behalf of farmers' cooperatives in project arrangements with local authorities to increase land accessibility, ownership, and utilization, organize educational engagement with the public and local youth, and curate public interest and appreciation for Lakeville's rich agricultural history. This farmers' cooperative model strives to drive out looming developers and restore what's left of the agricultural identity that Lakeville was founded on. So, what exactly does the role of the architect look like in all of this? As architecture students, we are often taught to design for our social agendas, with values often aligning close to those found in community-led initiatives, allowing architects to create positive contributions towards their surrounding environments. In reality, we are bound to developer-led projects with strictly profit-driven agendas, leaving architects and designers with little to no control over their creative environments. But in the cooperative model, architects could contribute in several ways, participating as a paying member, acting on behalf of the cooperative in a leadership role, either on the board of directors or management, or accepting hired work as the cooperative's consultant. Rather than working for a developer to create a copy and paste project, the cooperative model forms endless opportunities for architects to participate in community-led design agendas. These community-led initiatives give an introductory vision for potential goals in land preservation and suburban community outreach. Through the creation of respective cooperative models, lands dominated heavily by developers can instead become influenced by their own neighborhoods with the help of architects, member owners, and engaged community members, working together to reestablish Lakeville's historic identity.